project, by the definition, is the series of tasks that need to be carried out in order to reach specific goal or outcome within defined period of time. Taking into account this definition, believe it or not, like it or not, we are all program managers and project leaders in some way. Be it a vacation, wedding planning, shopping for a Christmas gift, house renovation, or changing a product, those are all small projects. Of course, not all of them require such a complex approach as the one I'm going to talk about in this video, but I think it's a good practice to go through these steps in your head, even for a small project. Hey guys, what's up? Michal here. I'm an engineer working in automotive for almost 10 years, and today I would like to speak about project starting / project planning, and I will try to break the whole thing into 7 fairly simple steps. So here we go. Number 1, explore the scope and risks. So what is your actual scope? What are your deliverables? What are your milestones? What are the expectations for the performance, for the quality, and overall expectations? Who are the people involved? Who are the stakeholders and the key stakeholders? Who can take decisions, give approvals, and validate solutions? What are the expectations of all those people, especially the key stakeholders? Clarifying your expectations and the expectations of the others will bring a lot of light to your project, because once you know what is your destination and why are you doing this project, it will be much more easy to define the way how to get there. Next thing are responsibilities. So what are your responsibilities and what are the responsibilities of the other people? Here I would suggest to draft a RASIC matrix, where RASIC is an acronym standing for who is responsible, accountable, supportive, who is supposed to be informed, and who is consulted. Once you have RASIC in place, it's way more easier to define the communication channels and also the frequency on which you want to check what is the progress on the deliverables and actions. Next thing you want to consider is the complexity. Is your customer a new customer? Is it a new market or new footprint? Is there some technology that you don't have experience with involved? Do you need to do some innovation? So all those kind of questions will help you to understand how much risk has the project overall. Speaking about the risks, this is the next area you want to be thinking about. What are your risks and how are you going to manage them? Explore and define potential failures, internal or external. There is a good chance some of them will come up from timing, resources, quality, or performance expectations, but sky is the limit here. Get really creative and list them down. Once you have everything listed, you need to assess what is the impact of each risk. The impact equals to probability times severity. You can use 3x3 or 5x5 metrics, simply going for low, medium, and high. Once you know what is the impact of each risk and how much danger it presents for your project, you need to deal with it, and you need to define the way how you are going to deal with it. Here, I recommend to use a TAME, which is a thinking tool that stands for transfer, accept, mitigate, or eliminate. Of course, if it's possible, you want to eliminate your risk, but many times this cannot be done. So you might think about combination of transferring and mitigating, or about accepting the risk and dealing with it once it shows up. Number 2, define project framework. This is a system you are going to be working with. So what are the tools, processes, and tasks that are going to help you to bring the project from the beginning to the hopefully successful end? Defining project framework is really important because it helps you to break this big scary thing into smaller pieces, and using the right tools, it will encourage also teams collaboration, keep the project organized and well tracked. Thinking about the project framework, you also want to ask yourself, how will you manage the changes? To answer this question is really crucial because changes are normally not expected, and if you don't have a system and plan how to deal with them, you are going to face a lot of troubles with your timing and resources. Step 3. Build a timeline. I think this is one of the most important steps in a project planning because it helps you to identify bottlenecks and more risks. Plus, it makes you think about overall workflow and dependencies. To build some kind of a high-level project schedule, start by listing down the milestones, internal and external ones, and related key tasks and their durations. Keep in mind that actual work is not the duration. The work can be, for example, 25 hours, but nobody's going to work 25 hours straight on a task. So you might need to break it down into, I don't know, 10 days by 2.5 hours. So your duration is going to be 10 days, but your work is going to be 25 hours. Work is basically defining your budget, and your duration is defining the timeline. Next thing you want to do is to break down this high-level timing into smaller pieces and define each task more precisely. If you struggle to come up with the more precise durations, there is a 3-point technique that will help you to do exactly that. The 3-point technique has 3 components: optimistic timing estimation O, pessimistic timing estimation P, and most likely timing estimation M. The formula itself goes like this: O plus 4M plus P, this everything in the brackets, divided by 6. Like this you will get a quite good estimation how much your task will take. One thing you should not forget when you are building the timing is to allow certain flexibility or slack in your timing, but avoid extending the task's duration too much, because this will create the procrastination culture and people will tend to delay the task's execution until the very last moment. So, based on the defined activities, you should be able to assign the attributes and constraints for your timing, and also to assign the dependencies. In general, there are 4 types of dependencies. Finish to start, which is the most common one, and it basically says that task A needs to finish before task B can start. So you need to finish the production of your parts before you can start testing them. Next one is finish to finish. So task A needs to finish so the task B can finish. For example, your testing needs to be finished so you can receive the final report. Next dependency is start to finish, which basically means that the task B needs to start so that task A can be finished. You can think about changing the shifts in the production, so the shift B cannot start until the shift A completed the job. The last dependency is start to start, so task B cannot be started unless task A has started. Here you can think about working with the superglue. So once you start to work with it, you also need to start immediately gluing the things together, otherwise it will get hard and it won't work. Strange saying, anyway. The last thing when building the timing is to understand the critical path. This is the longest time between start to finish, which is indicating the minimum time required to complete the project. Number 4, define your team. So this one is pretty much straightforward, but you want to keep in mind that your team is defined by the goal of the project, not the other way around. So if you like to work with somebody, but he is not skilled for that project, you might need to choose somebody else. You also want to pick the most skilled people working on the most critical tasks and assign the less critical tasks to the people who are not so experienced. 5. Calculate budget. Now that you have completed the steps 1 to 4, you want to put together all the costs related, and you should have enough information to do that. You need to consider the costs coming from your workload, but you should not forget about stuff like traveling costs, prototypes, external processes, testing, validations, whatever. Number 6, put together project outline. Again, having the steps 1 to 5 covered, you want to make kind of an executive summary of all the information that you have available, highlighting the risks, showing the timing, presenting the resources, and presenting the overall scope and expectations of the project. This project outline should be pretty short, to the point, and should give everybody, all stakeholders, important information related to the project. 7. Project kickoff. Congrats, you made it. So once you have all the steps completed, it's time to show the project outline to the team, present the most critical items, and ensure that everybody has all the important information so he can start the work. That's it. Thank you very much. See you next time.